Hello, everybody. It is Monday, April 13th, and welcome back to the Nick Watkins Show. I'm Nick Watkins. Let's get into it. We have quite a bit to talk about. What should we talk about first? I think we're going to talk about basketball. So, yesterday was the last day of the NBA regular season, and there were not a lot of teams that could potentially move up or down coming into the day, but we did see that. One specific instance, and let's just go through every single game. The Mavericks beat the Bulls. The Rockets beat the Grizzlies. The Wolves beat the Pelicans. The Suns beat the Thunder. The Nuggets beat the Spurs. The Jazz lost to the Lakers. The Blazers beat the Kings. The Celtics beat the Magic. The Cavs beat the Wizards. The Pistons beat the Pacers. The Heat beat the Hawks. The Hornets beat the Knicks. The 76ers beat the Bucks. And the Raptors beat the Nets. The Warriors lost to the Los Angeles Clippers. So there were there are a couple of big things that happened. And the first big thing that happened involves the Raptors and the Hawks. So Atlanta came into the day a game up on Toronto. If they won their game against the Heat, then they would be the 5 seed. But if they were to lose, which they did, and Toronto were to win, which they did, they would have dropped it back down to 6. So now the Toronto Raptors are the 5 seed, and the Atlanta Hawks are the 6 seed. And this could be strategy, but personally, I think this was a boneheaded move by Atlanta. All they had to do was win this game against the Miami Heat, and they go to Cleveland. Instead, they rested their starters and risked it. Now they drop down. They have to go to New York for the first round. I think this is a stupid move because you're going to get a couple days of rest anyway because you had clinched the playoff straight up. And instead, you decided to rest your starters, and now you have to go to New York. So, congratulations. I don't think that worked out for you at all. I think that was a ridiculous decision. And I think Atlanta, with this stupid move, cost themselves an easier first round matchup, and I think they will be eliminated in the first round because of this. I think Cleveland is no slouch, but I would rather play Cleveland than New York. Additionally, if you were to hypothetically win that first round matchup, I would rather play Boston than play Detroit. So I don't know about that. Maybe that's what they're risking. Maybe they wanted to lose intentionally, but still, I'd rather play New York. I would rather play Cleveland than play New York. So I don't know. I don't know. For the Rapids, this worked out very well because now, oh, wait a sec. That's not how it works. They would have to, yeah. So still in the first round, if you hypothetically win that first round matchup, I'd rather play Detroit than play Boston. And if they were to win against New York and Boston would seemingly win, they have to go to Boston instead of if you beat Cleveland, then you would pretty much play Detroit. I'd rather play Detroit than play Boston. So they cost themselves out of the easier matchup in both the first and the second round if they even get there. And I don't think they're going to get there. I think they're going to lose to New York. But for the Raptors, worked out very well. All you had to do was just beat the Brooklyn Nets, which they did. Um, they won that game. And now, congratulations. You get the easier first round matchup and potentially the easier second round matchup. So worked out very well for Toronto. But as for Atlanta, stupid. Stupid. All right. What else happened that was big? This is an interesting thing. The Orlando Magic lost to the Boston Celtics. The Celtics did not play any of their starters. I don't even know, aside from Garza, I don't even know who any of these guys are that played for the Celtics. They only had 8 players yesterday, and they beat the Orlando Magic. And the Magic had all their players. what are we doing, Orlando? They lost to the Celtics, missing half of their lineup, half their roster, and the half of the roster that was missing was the better half. All their good players did not play yesterday, and they still lost to the Celtics. What did this mean? Well, the 76ers beat the Bucks. So now Philadelphia gets to host the play-in game instead of having to go to Orlando. Orlando has to go to Philadelphia. So unlike the Hawks, who rested their starters and paid the price for it, the Magic actually played everybody and lost to the Celtics minus every single star they have. So the Magic, just a terrible loss on the last day of the season. You'd much rather have a home play-in game. Instead, you have to go to Philadelphia, a very hostile environment. And yeah, that did not work out very well for Orlando. Did not work out at all. And then that was the stuff that went on in the East. In the Western Conference, these were the changes. There actually were no changes, but this is what it means. Uh, the Nuggets, the Lakers, and the Rockets all won yesterday. Congratulations to them. All close out their season very strongly. The Lakers did lose their two best players. I mean, debatable, but they still won their final three games. The Nuggets have won their final 12 games in a row, and the Rockets have won 9 of their last 10. So all these teams, a strong finish of the season, even the Lakers, despite their injury problem. But it means that they all are in the same position that they were in coming into yesterday. So this is what the first round matchups look like. It means the Lakers are going to play the Rockets. Those are the 4 and the 5. And the Nuggets are going to play the Timberwolves. Those are all really good matchups. The Lakers and the Rockets is basically going to be LeBron versus KD because the Rockets don't have that playoff experience, like that. It was just last year, and they lost to the Warriors in the first round. And the Lakers don't really have anybody besides LeBron because of the injuries. So it's basically going to be LeBron versus KD 1v1 in this 7-game series. And then on the other hand, you have the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. And I think this is the sneaky, incredible, maybe even not sneaky. I think this is probably the best first round matchup. I mean, these are two teams that are one rivals and two very good basketball teams, and three have probably dare I say, top 5 players in the league. You can make the argument for Anthony Edwards. He's definitely top 10, if not top 5, and we know how good Jokic is. He's in the conversation for top 1. So just incredible matchup that this is going to happen in the first round. And I could see this going 7, and I could see either team winning it in 7. And I think it's going to be extremely entertaining because the last time these teams have met in the playoffs, which is seemingly every year, it's always entertaining. And even this year, I mean, you had the Christmas game. That was incredible. And they had more incredible games, even, throughout this year and the previous years in the playoffs. I think Nuggets Timberwolves is going to be a very, very, very good matchup. And I can't wait for it personally. And that was what happened in the Western Conference. So let's take a look at the play-in, which is going to be tomorrow. Preview that. We'll talk about it more tomorrow. Let me get Grant on the show tomorrow. We're going to just preview it so you can think about it. It's going to be on Tuesday. The Heat go to Charlotte. And the Heat, they won 43 games, which is pretty good. And they're the 10th seed. So you can see how the East is pretty deep. Can I see the Heat making it to the playoffs? I'm sure they could. I don't think they will. I think they might. I think they're going to lose here. But I could also see their experience paying off, and that's a conversation that we're going to have. Charlotte Hornets, no playoff experience. LaMelo, no playoff experience. But they are a fun, young team. They got great shooters, Colin Kneppel and LaMelo Ball. And they're a fun team. So we got kind of the historically consistent veteran Heat and just the hoop squad and the Charlotte Hornets. That's a fun matchup. And then you have the Blazers going to Phoenix. Now the Blazers have some fun young pieces as well. They also were going up against the Phoenix Suns, who, if it weren't for the injuries that they've been suffering this year, they could be in contention for one of the higher up spots. I think they're definitely out of the teams in the play-in. The Phoenix Suns are for sure the strongest. They have a good roster, a good lineup. Will Jalen Green play? Uncertain. Even if he doesn't play, I still think that they'll win. But if they're going to beat the Spurs, they're going to need him. I don't think they will beat the Spurs. But the Suns are for sure the strongest of the play-in teams. For sure, it's Phoenix. And then on Wednesday, the other four teams will play. You have the Magic going to Philadelphia. We discussed that. The Magic, they have Paolo, they have Franz Wagner, they have Desmond Bain now too. They have a core there that's developing and might be pretty good. And then for the 76ers, the big news is that Joel Embiid, who's dealing with appendicitis, is not going to play. And there's all this talk about Joel Embiid and how he's injury prone. This is not his fault. You can't control getting appendicitis. It's just something that happens. It's unfortunate for sure, but you can't be mad at him for it. I mean, you can't control that. It's not something that can be controlled. It is an unfortunate thing to happen. Will he make it back for the first round if they were to win this game? I don't know. I'm not an expert on appendicitis, but I think if he does play, it makes the 76ers a very good team, a team that could potentially upset somebody. They would have to go through Boston, which would be tough. If they were to lose and then go up against Detroit, I can see that happening too. 76ers are a team to watch out for. They got Max, you got Edgecombe, Grimes. If Paul George shows up, a return of the Mac Paul George, the Sixers have no problem in this game, and they might be able to make some waves in the actual postseason. It all depends on Embiid if he plays, and Paul George if he plays well, because he can. The question is, will he? We'll have that discussion. And then the final game in the play-in, the Golden State Warriors against the Los Angeles Clippers. The Warriors have lost every meeting between these teams but one. And look, the Warriors have had a very, very difficult year. The injuries have just decimated our team. And I think we would be in contention for not having to play in the play-in if everyone was healthy. We could be the sixth seed. The problem is we are extremely injured. And we'll have this discussion more tomorrow, but the Warriors has been a very unfortunate season from hell for the Warriors. As for the Clippers, they started out horribly, and here they are with a chance to win this game and potentially make it to the playoffs. Kawhi is just having a vintage year. Darius Garland has been good for them. Um, man, I think it's gonna be a fun game, especially if Steph and Kawhi show up. It's gonna be a battle of those two. That's exciting. Okay, now let's discuss baseball. So yesterday, a lot of games, a lot of good game. Um, the San Francisco Giants lost yesterday 6-2 to the Baltimore Orioles. Baltimore Orioles 6 runs on 11 hits. Giants 2 runs on 7 hits and had an error. The losing pitcher in this one was Adrian Hauser. He went 4 2/3, gave up 4 earned runs on 5 hits and 2 walks, and he struck out 3. The winning pitcher was Cade Povich, who was really good. 6 2/3, gave up 1 earned run on 5 hits and no walks, struck out 5. It felt like he was in control the entire game. He would get heading counts. He would have our guys in between on their timing, and it was just not the best game from us yesterday. Um, yeah, it was an unfortunate one for sure. Now I want to look at some big pictures. I also want to Casey Schmidt 3 for 4 yesterday. He's had a he hasn't played like a ton since the incident against the Padres. but he's had 3 hits in 3 of the 5 games, and the other 2 games he's had 1 hit. So he's had a hit in his last 5 games, and 3 of those games he had 3 hit games. And yesterday rather, was his first homer of the season. So Casey Schmidt is playing very well, and I think it's a testament to him and how he handled the whole situation where he got cussed out by Chappie, and I think he handled it like a pro, like a big leaguer, like a man. And I really applaud that because he's not going to be playing the field anymore. Well, that with the Rise injury, I like Koss a lot, so I'll probably have Koss play defense. But Schmidt has definitely earned the designated hitter role. He's not going to be playing the field because Rafi he plays better when he's in the field, so we want Rafi to play better. Chappie is just otherworldly defense at third base. And Willie Adames is not taking any off days as well as Chapman, so he's not going to see the field, but which is a shame because Casey Schmidt has a very good glove. But with all these hits, he's solidified himself, I believe, as the DH. And you might be thinking, well, what about Gerard? Well, that brings me to my next point about the outfield. Dude, the outfield has not been good. The offensive production from the outfield spots has been just terrible. Um, the big one, Jung Hoo Lee, he's getting paid 9 figures, $22 million over the next 4 years. He's hitting 185 with a 561 OPS, 10 hits, and 54 at bats. I love Jung Hoo Lee. He used to be my favorite player. But here we are in year number 3, and the first year was going very well until he got hurt. The second year, you kind of say, well, it is his first full year. But here we are in year number 3, and what 185 through the first 54 plate appearances. That is well below league average and absolutely unacceptable from a guy who's getting paid 9 figures. And I sincerely hope that the numbers will increase and the play will increase, and I will be proven wrong about this point. But Jung Hoo Lee he's hurting the lineup. And the problem is you have to play him every day because he's getting paid so much. The same thing can really be said for Elliot Ramos. I really like Elliot Ramos. I like all these guys. But he's hitting just the 241 is respectable. But 14 hits and 58 at bats. He has 22 strikeouts in 58 at bats, which is 7th worst in the league. I mean, the extra base hits aren't there. He just had like 2, and the real problem is the strikeout numbers. He's not making great contact, and if he can make great contact, then no problem. But he is striking out way too much. And then you also look at Harrison Bader, who's mostly out there for his glove, and his glove has been good. But he's hitting 115. He has 6 hits and 52 at bats, 10 total bases. He's also striking out a decent amount, but 115 is horrendous. The glove has been good, but the offensive production has not been there from either of these guys. And if you look at a guy like Gerard, who also has not been playing very well, um, just there's no offensive production from the outfield. All those guys are hurting the team with their bats. And then you look at who's in the AAA: Bryce Eldridge, Grant McCray, Drew Gilbert, and Victor Barracoto are all hitting over 300. Their OPSs are in the high eights to low 1000s. They are just tearing it up. Not to mention, Drew Gilbert will give you an insane boost of energy and morale, and Bryce Eldridge will give the fans something to cheer for. it the problem is you really can't call those guys up because then you have to do something with the three that are already there. And I am believers in the guys who are there, but Jung Hoo Lee is kind of running out of patience. He's running low on patience. He's on thin ice now because he's you just keep it. He's shown flashes of being great, and we signed him expecting him to become great. And so far, he has not been consistently good, let alone great. And you have guys in the minors who are pressing the issue. Tough spot for the Giants because there's nothing good about the outfield offensively. Meanwhile, you got the infield. You got Adames, Devers, Chapman, Schmidt, and then Arias, who is hurt, but was hitting the ball very well before he got hurt. You could even put Christian Kost there, who's been a plus defender and is a nice guy and is hitting the ball in his limited opportunities. All the offensive production is coming from the infield. And don't even get me started on Patrick Bailey, who is, wait for it, where is he? Hitting 146, 6 hits and 41 at bats, all of them singles. His OPS is 351. Yes, he is the best defender in the league by a long shot. However, your backup catcher is hitting over 500. Actually, what is Susak hitting? 636. He has more hits than Bailey in a fifth of the at bats. Now, I was reminded of this earlier. This was when I was 3. Benji Molina was the catcher, and there was a young kid who came up from AAA and started hitting the cover off the baseball and forced the Giants to trade Benji Molina to the Texas Rangers. Benji Molina was a great catcher for us. He was a good defender. The Molina's all good defenders. He was a good defender, and he was a good bat, and he was a loved player by the clubhouse and the fans. But the Giants traded him because of some kid who came up from AAA and was hitting the ball well. Well, that kid's name was Buster Posey. What if, and I know he's only played a couple games, but he reminds me of him. If Susak is the Posey, the new Posey, then Bailey is kind of like the new Benji Molina. And Benji Molina, is that an insult to Benji Molina? Because Benji Molina was a good hitter. Bailey cannot hit anything. And I understand the defense is so good, but Bailey, maybe at his best, is like Austin Hedges, who is just a backup catcher who's only there for his defense. And when he's up, he's like a pitcher hitting. He's Bailey's offense is just so bad. It's not good enough to be in the lineup every day. It's got to be Susak at least half the time. Very tough position for the Giants in terms of the outfield and the catching spots. Because here come all these young guys who are exciting and they're actually playing well and hitting the ball. And the other guys who could figure it out, but will they figure it out? And I think there's now a countdown for all 4 of those guys, Bader, Ramos, and Lee and Bailey. There's a countdown. If you don't start performing well by this moment, I don't know when that is for the front office, but if you don't perform well before here, well, you've lost your job. I think that might be the case. All right. Other scores from the league yesterday. The D-backs beat the Phillies 4-3. Taylor Clark. I'm guessing here. Is it Taylor? Taylor Clark. How did I know that? Taylor Clark got the win. Jose Alvarado got the loss to save win to Paul Sewald. The Twins beat the Blue Jays 8-2. Winning pitcher was Taj Bradley. Losing pitcher was Max Scherzer, who got shelled 8 earned runs. The Angels beat the Reds 9-6. Jose Soriano, 7 shutout innings. He struck out 10. He's won his first 4 starts. Only allowed 2 hits and 3 walks. Even though they did give up 6 runs, he did not give up any of those in his 7 innings. Andrew Abbott got shelled and got the loss. Wow, that's a great game from Soriano. Again, the Tigers beat the Marlins 8-2. Tarek Skubal got the win. Sandy Alcantara got shelled. He got the loss. He went 6 innings. They gave up 7 runs on 10 hits. The A's beat the A's beat the Met. The A's beat the Mets 1-0. Savali got the win, 5 2/3 shutout. Peralta got the loss, even though he went 6 innings and struck out 6 and only gave up 1 run. The save went to Cunell, whatever. The Rays walked. Oh, no, they did not. The Rays beat the Yankees, swept the Yankees 5-4. Drew Rasmussen, 6 shutout, got the win. 7 strikeouts. Engler got the save. The loss went to Schlittler, who got 3 earned runs over 5 and struck out 8. The White Sox beat the Royals 6-5. Winning pitcher was Leisure. Losing pitcher was Schreiber, and the save went to Sir Anthony Dominguez. The Nationals beat the Brewers 8-6. The winning pitcher was Pauline. The losing pitcher was Zerpa, and the save went to Varland. The Red Sox beat the Cardinals 9-3. Winning pitcher was Brian Bayo. Losing pitcher was Payante. The Cubs walked off the Pirates 7-6. The winning pitcher was Palencia. The losing pitcher was Urquidy. The Rangers beat the Dodgers 5-2. DeGrom got the win. Sasaki got the loss. Junis got the save. DeGrom was great. The Padres beat the Rockies 7-2. Morgan got the win. It looks like Pivetta might have gotten hurt in this one. Yeah, he got hurt. He was pitching well before he got hurt. That's unfortunate. I'll have to take a look at that and see how it went. But Morgan got the win. The loss went to Herget, who was the opener. The Mariners beat the Astros 6-1. Gilbert got the win. Bolton got the loss. And then on Sunday Night Baseball, the Braves blew out the Guardians 13-1. Chris Sale with a nice start got the win. The loss went to Bybee, gave 8 runs over 4 2/3, and Dodd got a 3-inning save. Here are the games for today. The Giants do not play. The Mariners go up against the Astros. Kirby versus Burrows. And then it's going to be Nelson going for Arizona against Kramer for Baltimore. The Washington Nationals start Cade Cavalli against Paul Skeens for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Always so good to watch him pitch. He's such a great pitcher. The Cubs start Javier Assad against Christopher Sanchez for the Phillies, who is also a fantastic pitcher. That's a good game, actually. Phillies Cubs is on national TV. I might go watch that when this is over. The Angels and then the Yankees. It's going to be Kikuchi versus Will Warren. The Marlins and the Braves. Yuri Perez versus Grant Holmes. The Red Sox against the Twins. Twins are 9-7. I'm going to do a standings update after this. Crochet. He's going to go for the Red Sox over for the Twins. Gavin Williams for the Guardians against Liberator for the Cardinals. Rangers, A's, Eovaldi versus Severino. Mets, Dodgers, Peterson versus Wroblewski. This is a good game. Mets, Dodgers. Mets, a little bit of a stumble out of the gate, but they're looking to take on the best team in the league right here, and this is what the standings look like. So, in the AL, you got the Rays are tied with the Yankees and the Orioles for the AL East. The Yankees have lost 5 games in a row and are still 8-7. So it goes to show how good of a start they had. But the Rays, the Yankees, and the Orioles all 8-7. The Blue Jays and the Red Sox are 6-9. In the AL Central, it's the Twins 9-7, the Guardians 9-7, the Royals 7-9, the Tigers 7-9, won 3 games in a row, and the White Sox are 6-10. The Twins are definitely the big surprise here. In the AL West, the Rangers are 8-7, the A's 8-7. The Angels, they are 8-8, so they played an extra game. The Mariners, they are 7-9, and the Astros are 6-10. In the NL East, the Braves lead the division 10-6. The Marlins have lost 3 games in a row. They're 8-8. The Phillies are 7-8. The Nationals are 7-8, and the Mets are 7-9. That's the big surprise. They've lost 5 games in a row. The Central looks like this. You got the Pirates are leading the division at 9-6. The Reds are 9-7. This is a complete opposite of where a lot of people have it. The Reds are 9-7. The Cardinals are 8-7, which is a huge surprise. The Brewers, to me, the Brewers have lost 5 games in a row and are 8-7, and the Cubs are 7-8. I thought it was going to be like the complete opposite. It is not. And then the NL West looks like this. The Dodgers are 11-4, the best record in baseball. They are in first. The Padres have won 5 games in a row and are 10-6. The D-backs are respectable. D-backs are better than us, 9-7. And the Giants are the tie with the Rockies with a 6-10 record. Um, that pains me to say. So, moving on to hockey. Yesterday, some games. The Flames beat the Mammoth 4-1. The Canucks skated off the Ducks 4-3. Uh, Canucks. I like that. The Devils beat the Senators in overtime 4-3. Canadians beat the Islanders 4-1. The Bruins beat the Blue Jackets 3-2. The Capitals beat the Penguins 3-0. Lot of teams play today, and for the Sharks, this is a literal must-win game. The only way for the Sharks to make the playoffs is for the Kings to lose every single one of their games, for the Predators to lose every single one of their games, and for the Jets to lose more games than we do. So the Sharks has to have a lot of things go right, in addition to playing good hockey when we've lost 3 games in a row. Now, look at yeah, Saturday's loss still hurts a lot. We have to play the Predators tonight. This is the big test. We have not beaten them we had 3 matchups against them in the final month of the year, this month, and we were supposed to be able to gain points on them. We've lost every single game so far. We have to win today against the Predators if we're going to eventually pass them and somehow make the playoffs. If we lose this game, we're done for. Dare I say that we should start tanking? Is that crazy to say? Because even though we're technically, mathematically alive, the Kings play the Canucks tomorrow. They're going to win that game. We're not going to be able to make it. I think we should start tanking, because we can try and secure ourselves a better pick, better lottery odds, because we are still technically in that rebuild. Although this should be the last year of that rebuild. Things are looking great for the future, but as for this year, I think we should tank. What do you guys have to think about that? What do you guys say about that? It's an interesting thought. Um, Obviously, they're going to try, but the way we've been playing, maybe we won't even try to, and we will tank. I think it could be beneficial. If we get a high pick in the draft and we get another great player, the future is just unbelievably teal. Put it that way. It will be nice to make the playoffs, but we're not going to do anything, so let's get that better pick. Why not? The Red Wings, they play the Lightning. The Rangers play the Panthers. The Hurricanes play the Flyers. The Stars and the Maple Leafs. The Wild and the Blues. The Sabres and the Blackhawks. The Avs and the Oilers. The Kings and the Kraken. And the Jets and the Golden Knights. This is how the standings look. The Hurricanes, 110 points first. The Sabres, 106, tied with the Canadians. They are second and third. The Lightning have 104. They are in fourth. In fifth place, the Penguins are 2 points off 100. They have 98. The Bruins also have 98. They are in sixth. The Ottawa Senators have clinched the playoffs. Good for them. With 97 points, they are in seventh. And then there are 3 teams remaining fighting for the final wildcard spot in the East. The Flyers have it with 94 points. The Caps and the Blue Jackets, they have 93 and 92 and are the only teams still alive that aren't currently holding a playoff position. The Capitals and the Blue Jackets. The Blue Jackets have won 2 of the last 10 games. They've lost 8 of the last 10. So they are not looking very good. The Red Wings have 91 points and are eliminated. They've lost 7 of 10. Same exact thing with the Islanders. Same amount of points. Same last 10 record. They are eliminated. So the Blue Jackets are ice cold. The Capitals and the Flyers are pretty hot. So in my opinion, this is between the Flyers and the Capitals. And I think that's pretty crazy because The Capitals felt out of it to me, but I guess they're still in it. The only team out of those that play today are the Flyers. Okay, the Flyers. They play the Hurricanes, the best team in the East. As for the Capitals, they actually play the Blue Jackets tomorrow. So one of those teams, I think, will eliminate the other. Well, not okay. So let's say today that the Flyers win. I think that this is a win or essentially go home game between the Capitals and the Blue Jackets, which is very fun. Um, Neither of those teams would play. Yes, it is because those teams do not play again. Whoa, that is really interesting. So because the Flyers, the Blue Jackets, and the Capitals each have one game remaining, it means that if the Flyers were to lose, so okay, because the Philadelphia Flyers, the Washington Capitals, and the Columbus Blue Jackets each have one game remaining in their season. For the Flyers, if they win this game, they clinch, they're in. If they lose this game, then I think the winner of Washington Columbus on Tuesday would take the final wildcard spot. If the Flyers were to lose in overtime, then I think the Blue Jackets would be eliminated. And maybe the Capitals, depending on the head to head. But if the Flyers win, they're in. If they lose, they're going to need some things to go right. So, what a very interesting scenario in the Eastern Conference. Super interesting. Big game tonight for the Hurricanes and the Flyers. All right. So that's sports, everybody. That's what's going on today. Um, Big ol' episode. Thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.